Shalom, this is Melech Ben Ya'aqov of Karaite Insights, talking to you from the beautiful Pacific Ocean on the coast of California. And before we play the flute today, as we often do, I would like to give a brief Dvar Torah. What I'd like to talk to you today about is the concept of Lo Tosifu Velo Tigra'u. Do not add to and do not take away from the law of the Torah. The main point I'd like to make is that adding to the law of the Torah is put in the same category as taking away from the law of the Torah. It is just as much a violation of the Torah to add to it as it is to take away from it. And the analogy I'd like to give is a mountaintop, the peak of a mountain. If I'm on the peak of a mountain, I'm in a perfect balance between one side of the mountain and the other side of the mountain. If I go too far in either direction, then I'm no longer in balance. I'm no longer at the top, at the peak of the mountain. To apply this analogy to the Torah, if we take away, or if one takes away from the law of the Torah, then it is as if he is at one side of the mountain, not at the peak, but down somewhere on the mountain to one side. However, if one adds to the law of the Torah, it is also as if he is not at the peak of the mountain, but down somewhere on the other side of the mountain. Either way, he's not at the peak. He's not in balance. The Haridim have come to believe and have come to sell the idea to the rest of the Jewish world and the world at large that by adding to the Torah, by adding more and more halachot, laws to the Torah, by becoming more and more pious, that they are more religious, that they are more observant of the Torah. However, using our analogy of the peak, we can actually see that they are less observant of the Torah than someone who does neither add nor take away from the laws of the Torah. Someone who doesn't observe the Torah at all, or who observes the Torah very little, is on one side of the mountain, down towards the bottom. Someone who adds many laws to the Torah is on the other side of the mountain, down towards the bottom. Neither one of these two types of people is at the peak, is in peak observance of the Torah. An analogy would be a basketball game. Let's say instead of 2 hoops on the court, I had 4 hoops, or 6 hoops, or 10 hoops. And let's say instead of 7 players, it's been a while since I watched basketball, 7 players on the team, there are 11 players, or 13, or 45 players on the team. Does this make the game a better played game? Is this a better observation of the rules of basketball? No, it is not. It's a violation of the rules of basketball. More is not better, just as less is not better. If there were only 3 players on the team and only 1 hoop instead of 2 hoops, and the court were shortened to 1/3 its size, then that also would not be a peak expression of the game of basketball. Therefore, one of the more radical conclusions that I came to is that the Haridim, the ultra-Orthodox, are not actually ultra-Orthodox at all. They are not more religious than the rest of the Jewish world, or more religious than those who achieve a balance in Torah. They're actually less religious. The level of one's observance of Torah should be judged by how close he comes to that balance, to that peak. How close he comes to expressing in his life, in his behavior, in his actions, the balance and the true meaning of the Torah. It is that which I attempt to do and attempt to achieve as a Karaite. And I believe that this is the true message, the true idea of the Karaite movement.